welcome back to my channel. It's Trish again, coming back at you with a new video. We're going to be rambling about books again. There's a little bit of a book haul. Save that for the last this time. And as you all know, I am reading throughout the year. Like, it's my goal for the year to, you know, if you watched my previous 23-minute long video, you already know. So let's just get past this awkward introduction and get into the rest of the video, shall we? Okay, so if you did watch the last video I posted book-wise, actually I lied. If you watched my video from 4 months ago about my book haul and rambling about all the other books that I had still left to read, I can't talk today, I'm sorry. You know that I was moving on to book 9, which, if you recall, is this bad boy right here. So this is the Don't Close Your Eyes trilogy. So this is actually book 9, 10, and 11. So I took the entire month to read all 3 of the books in here, because look at it. I mean, these are actually kind of small if you actually separate it. I took the paper clips out, so I can't exactly show you how they were, but they're about like spread about like that much. So it's about this girl named Janie Hannigan, and she has this weird power. She can get sucked into other people's dreams. Given I have not read this book since 4 months ago, I might be a little hazy on remembering specific things about it, so we're gonna try our best. So basically, she, like, at the raw age of like 7, somewhere around that age, she starts to experience being sucked to other people's dreams, and she's like, I don't know why this happens. I don't know anybody else who's like experiencing the same things. It's weird, it's odd, it's uncomfortable. But yeah, and it really sucks because when she gets sucked into other people's dreams, she loses like her own like energy within herself. Like, she's exhausted after it's a trial, especially if she gets sucked into a nightmare rather than a normal peaceful dream. Nightmares are the worst, and sometimes she can't pull herself out, and that's not a good thing. She could literally die in the nightmare or someone's dream. And remember when I put that thing, I said that sounds like some Freddy Krueger shit? Yeah, die in the actual dream in real life. Like, come on, no thank you. So yeah, and then there's this one dude, what's his name, like Cable. Okay, he's not the boy next door, but he's like that kid that everybody made fun of for the way he looked and dressed, and then puberty happened and he got hot basically, and they get together, and he's working out as like kind of like a secret agent kind of thing for the police, and she starts helping him with this work because she can get into people's heads literally by, you know, them sleeping and dreaming. They do a pretty awesome bust on this teacher at their high school who is actually like doing this thing where teachers sleep around with students, and they did a bust on that at a party he hosted for the science kids. Yeah, and yeah, so basically like the first book is kind of like, okay, you're getting introduced and you're learning, there's like rising action, you're like, okay, I think I like this. Second book, in my opinion, is the best one, and that's where they, like, Janie and Cable start working together. Not just working together, but they're also dating. And then the third book, I kind of like lost interest, because it's like at this point you're already all the way up to the peak of all of the stuff that's already risen, and you're just going into your falling action. And I feel like the entire book from the first few chapters is just falling action. Although you do learn a lot more. You learn more about Janie's father, who's not been mentioned throughout the entire thing until now. well, he's been mentioned, but not like seriously mentioned, you know? And she's got like this batshit crazy mom, and she's a drunk and kind of sad and pathetic, but whatever, she's not important anyway. But her dad's like a big key thing, because you find out that her dad is the reason she has these things going on in her head with seeing such other people's dreams. And I don't know, like the way it was like written is just like, it was really kind of boring and unsatisfying, because I was like, okay, cool, but this is it. And like, it was really sad and depressing finding out the effects of what this power does to her. Like, it's either she lives in seclusion and has no contact with the outside world or other people to live a longer life, or she can stay in contact with her loved ones and work for the police force and use her ability to help them with their cases. But the downside to that is her hands will be gnawed and ugly, she will eventually go blind, and it's just not a happy life. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. But, you know, it comes with the gift or the curse, if you want to call it. Either one of those. Overall, I wouldn't read it again. Not because I don't like it. It's just one of those books that you're like, okay, one and done. Like, that kind of thing. Like, I don't really have the urge to read this again. I do like the first one. The second one I love even better, but the third one, nah. And I'm that kind of person, if the ending doesn't satisfy me, there's not really a chance of me revisiting it. So yeah, so that was book 9, 10, 11. Moving on, The List by Siobhan Vivian. Okay, so I started off liking this book so much, and I thought it was interesting because every chapter was like from the point of view of one of the girls on the list, so you got to see their perspective and what they were going through personally throughout the entire book. And my favorite character was Sarah, the rebel girl. The only issue I had was the ending, because I was like, okay, but like as soon as I got like here out of this much of the book, I'm like, okay, stuff is happening and the conclusion's coming up, what's gonna happen? And I'm like, who wrote the list? Who like what how is the rest of this stuff gonna play out? I get to the end, you find out who wrote the list, I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but I should have expected that. And then it was so like open-ended. Like, I feel like it's highly unsatisfying the way it ended, because I literally finished it and I was like, what the fuck? Because I really liked this book, and then as soon as I read the ending, I was like, fuck. Yeah. Insert clip of Bradley, what's his name, Bradley Cooper tossing that book out the window in Silver Linings Playbook. By the way, if you haven't seen that movie, watch it. It's a gem. But yeah, insert clip here. I hate it. I don't like it. It disappointed me so deeply to my core. Okay, and the fact that I hated book 12, 9, 10, 11, book 12 so much, it really affected me to the point that I did not even want to read another book. So it took me a while until I started reading this book right here. It's another Lisa Kleypas novel, and it's called Seduce Me at Sunrise. It's the follow-up sequel to Mine Till Midnight. Instead of following the storyline of Cam Rohan and Amelia, it's following the storyline of Mary Penn and Winifred. Wynn, Amelia's little sister from the Hathaway family, okay? And Maripin is like, he's not their servant, but he like acts like he is. He's technically adopted into their family because he's a gypsy, just like Cam, but like it's complicated. He doesn't see himself as part of the family, and he's just a complicated character, all right? And I really didn't like him. I didn't like him in the last book, and I didn't like him in this one either. And I was just like, how am I supposed to read a romance novel about one half of them? I don't even like them. And yeah, but like when you learn more about, I can't call him Maripin. I always hated his name until he finally told Wynn his like actual gypsy name, which is Kev. And so Kev and Wynn together makes his character so much more likable. And truth be told, I actually like this novel better than Mine Till Midnight. I feel like it's more lighthearted because Wynn has been so secluded from like the outside world because she's a invalid, because she got sick when she was younger and she never like fully healed from that. So it's like she healed, but like her body was forever weakened from that point on. So she's in that position where she wants to have fun. She doesn't want to be stuck in the house all day. She wants to fall in love, and not just emotionally. She wants to fall in love physically. You know what I mean? And yeah, and at the same time, she like can't really get what she wants with Kev because he's not the kind of person. He feels like he doesn't deserve her. And literally everybody is rooting for them except for one person, the doctor who like heals her. But like, yeah, big thing, he basically ruins her, like her reputation in society, because somebody caught them making out in the corner. Yeah, and it's just not pretty. But they fall in love. Well, they were already in love, but like they finally make it official. And you know, he does the big showy gypsy thing where he kidnaps the girl in the middle of the night, and they and then the next morning, you know, everyone's happy and they're in love, and then they belong to each other, and then they're betrothed, you know? Yeah. I sound like a blubbering idiot right now. Anyway, so basically, hands down, I like this so much better than the first one. There's a third one, and I think that one is from Poppy's point of view. And then the one after that, I think is, what's their drunk brother's name? I don't even remember. What's his name? Is it? I think Leo. Wait, Leo? No. Yes. I have no idea. And then there's one for Beatrice, which I believe is the last one, and I have the one for Beatrice over there. It's the one I talked about earlier in the other video, saying I wasn't gonna read it because it was all a bunch of love letters and stuff, but now I have to read it because I found out that it's the last book in the series, and I'm so upset about it. Yay, me. Anyway, moving on. That was book 13. Then I started reading book 14. Another Lisa Kleypas novel, but it's a contemporary modern novel. It is romance still, but it's a contemporary modern day one. All like the other ones I read by her are all historical romance, like, you know, 1800s kind of thing, you know. This is like today's time period. This one's called Smooth Talking Stranger, and it's set in Texas, and I hate southern accents, like deep ones to my core. I like, you know that movie Beautiful Creatures? Yeah, when I first started watching that, I was like, oh no, kill me now, because I could not with the accents. They were too deep. But I watched it, and I've watched it about 3 times. but yeah, I really have an issue. So every time I was reading anybody like talking there, I like heard it in my head, and I was just like, no, no. But anyways, I got past that. Like I can ignore that for the most part. But it was actually really refreshing. I love this book a lot. I will totally read it again. It's basically this girl. What's her name? Ella. Her name is Ella, and she's a advice columnist. And she finds out one day, she's like at home with her boyfriend. She finds out one day that her sister, her little sister, had a baby and just, you know, dropped it off at their mom's house and left, right? Just up and left without a word to anybody. Just here, I had a baby. By the way, I'm leaving. Bye. Yeah. So she has to drive out to her mom's house, and her mom's like forever stuck in like her 20s. Like she thinks she's a young person, and she's basically a cougar, and she doesn't want any responsibility. Not that she took responsibility with her own kids to begin with. I mean, maybe this is why they're so messed up. Yeah. And so Ella ends up taking the baby, and her boyfriend, by the way, is like, no baby, you're not bringing it back. I'm sorry, I just noticed a huge ass, like, that's not even a spider web, that is a cobweb, like flying from the edge of my window to the tree, and I'm not okay with that because it's huge, and that means that the spider is huge. It's not okay. That's not comforting at all. Alright, somebody gotta fix that, and it's not about to be me. Just thought you'd know. Anyway, so yeah, so her boyfriend's like, no baby, we're not taking this baby in. I don't want kids, blah 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 blah. Her boyfriend's basically an asshole, okay? He doesn't even have the decency to just take the kid to raise it, you know, like take care of it until the mom comes back. Like that's what is wrong with you? Anyway, come on. So she ends up staying in, what does she live in Houston, or does she move to Houston? Yeah, I just found a random page and it happened to say I'm in Houston with the baby. How lucky was that? Okay, so she stays in Houston with the baby to, you know, take care of it until her sister comes back. And she's like trying to gather information about who might be the father. And then her cousin who talked to her little sister was talking about this dude named Jack Travis, who's like famous because he's from like this rich family or whatever, and they own like construction or something in Texas or whatever. And apparently he's like the full Texas package or whatever. I don't know, I've never been into like big hulking strong man's men, so you know, not with it at all. But alright, so she suspects him to be the father. He's not actually the father, but he helped her. He decides to help her. Let's see, because he's taken with her. Another thing about this book that I forgot to mention, I just completely forgot about it until just now. The way she meets him was like total flashbacks to reading 50 Shades of Grey. Let me stop you right there. I know what you're thinking. 50 Shades of Grey is trash. Yes, okay, it's trash. I know, but it's good trash. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Maybe you know what I'm trying to say, but I enjoyed reading said trash. I have no idea what I'm trying to say. It was like, it could be better, but I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? No? Let's move on. But the way she meets him is kind of like the same way, and little bits and pieces of the relationship in the book going on kind of reminded me of that too, minus the Red Room of Pain and BDSM, minus all that stuff, but pretty much the same, you know? Yeah. and she had a lot of learning to do. She was the one who didn't, like, wasn't sure about herself, like being able to love another man, or if she was in love in the first place with her other boyfriend. Was his name like Dane? I hated Dane. He was like, ugh, he didn't deserve her. But like Jack Travis was like, obviously you should be with him, like common sense, like he's a better dude. But like he also like needed to learn how to love again, and to trust that he won't have his heart broken because of his stupid ex-girlfriend who basically used him and cheated on him like a fucking tramp. Anyway, oh, with his best friend, by the way. Anyway, yeah, so I love this. 10 out of 10. You should read it. If you're not into romance novels, suck it up, because I'm not either, but I got into this, didn't I? Okay, so book 15. I'm excited to tell you guys about book 15. 15. To all the boys I've loved before. Okay, let me tell you about this book. So, I've been seeing this book in the stores for the past few years. But this came out like 2014. I've been seeing it everywhere for the past 4 years. And I've picked it up almost every time that I see it, and I read the back and I'm like, sounds interesting, but I'm never gonna read it. Because I'm just like not into sappy shit. I'm really not. As you can see, I hate myself for liking romance novels. I don't read contemporary crap. I read The Mortal Instruments. I read Twilight. I read The Hunger Games, Divergent. I don't read anything normal. I read what is it called? The Fallen series, Vampire Academy, Vampire Kisses, Vampire Diaries. Obviously I'm obsessed with vampires, if you noticed. Like, I don't read normal things. And that's another thing, that's another reason why I've been choosing a lot of contemporary things to put into my list to read for the year, because I want to see if I'm actually interested in this stuff, because the most I've ever read, besides this other stuff that I'm mentioning, is like John Green. He was the first like for real author with contemporary books that I ever got into. Like, I trust him I trust him to my core. I'll read almost anything he writes. I mean, there's only one book I've read by him so far that I absolutely don't like, so that's really good. I trust him. I trust his writing, just like I trust Lisa Kleypas. Obviously, I keep coming back for her. Yeah, and just like with To All the Boys, Jenny Han, I trust you, girl. I'm coming back. I'm coming back for more, because I did not just read the first one. I read the second and the third. And why? Why did I do this? I mostly picked this up finally because this was not part of my book haul in the last video. Do you remember? This was not in it. I bought this randomly because I saw the trailer for the movie coming out. And I was like, hey, that's that book that I keep seeing and I'm never gonna read. So I went to Target and I bought it. So I bought it and I was like, I'm just reading this so I can watch the movie. Simple as that. Bitch, I finished this book in 2 days, and then the ending, I was like, oh, hell no. So I went to Target and I got the second one. I finished this in a day. And then the next day, I bought the third one. And I'm in love. I'm in absolute love with this trilogy. Like, it's the absolute best. If you know me in person, you know, if you read my Instagram posts, I like post daily about my day. I'm unhealthily obsessed with To All the Boys I Loved Before. I've watched it a total of 15 times, and it's only been out on Netflix for like 2.5 weeks. I watched the, oh my god, you want to know how many times I watched it in the first 24 hours? 6 times. I watched the movie 6 times in 24 hours. Approximately 12 hours out of my day, which is 24 divided by 2 is 12. I legitimately spent half of the day just watching that movie. It's really bad. But that's how much I love it, and I really need sequels, because see, I'm not gonna talk anymore about these because I have another video. I actually have 2 other videos dedicated to just this trilogy alone. One is about the books, and then one is me talking about the books compared to the movie. That one's an hour long, so if you actually watched it, props to you. That means I actually sat in this damn chair and talked for an hour. Maybe even more because I edited stuff out. So I have a problem for real, but I'm okay with it. Also, another story to go with those books. I took a long time to finish Smooth Talking Stranger. So when I started the first one, To All the Boys, I was like, I have 8 days left in the month. I was like, I'm probably gonna take the rest of these 8 days to read this one book. And then I finished it in 2, and then I finished the other 2 each with 1 day. So a total of 4 days it took me to read all 3. And I was like, and I still have 4 days to kill in the month. So I just like didn't read anything for the rest of the month. And then I had 2 weeks left for the movie, and then I actually, so when the next month actually started, I started reading book 18, which is Cold Hearted Rake, yet another Lisa Kleypas novel. I know, I told you, I respect her so much. So this has nothing to do with the other series I was talking about. This is, again, another historical romance novel, just so you know. It's it is another series, but it's not the other series I was talking about. Basically, this girl who's widowed falls in love with the cousin who is the next heir to inherit the estate as the earl, and they instantly hate each other, and obviously they fall in love passionately in all the wrong ways. And she's like, her and the other girls, the dude who died sisters are supposed to be in mourning, and apparently like back in the olden days, mourning was a very long period, and they've been in mourning for like half of their like lives basically, because I think their parents, what is on my window? Is that an insect? I'm sorry, interruption. Okay. I feel better now. Okay. Their parents died, their brother died. They really have been in mourning for forever. And this Rake's just like breaking all the rules for them. I really don't feel like talking so much about this. I really don't. I'm sick of talking about romance novels right now. But it's really good. We'll totally read again. I think I actually have the sequel to this one too. It's another one that I mentioned that I wasn't gonna read, and then I found out that that was the sequel to this one. I was like, fuck. And I still really feel like I'm not gonna like it because the character, it's about the little sister and the dude that the Rake tries to set up with her to get married to, and I don't like him. I don't like him, especially what he did in the last part of this book. I don't like him. So I'm really gonna have a hard time like actually accepting the fact that I'm supposed to maybe possibly like him when I read the actual novel that's about him. I don't know. But yeah, I don't feel like talking about these anymore. I'm sorry. Okay, book 19 was The Cellar. So if you watched that other one, you knew that I was impatiently waiting to read this. Guys, It was honestly really good. The only thing is that I could not read this book without a look of disgust on my face. Like, this was my face the entire time I was reading it. I was so disgusted because it's about this dude. He kidnaps these girls. He takes away their names and names them as flowers. So like Rose, Poppy, Lily, and whatever the other fucking one was. I don't remember. But there's 4 of them. And so the rules are they must be up by 8 a.m. and the house must always be clean. Oh, they live in the basement, by the way. They don't actually live in the house. They're locked in the basement. And dinner must be ready by the time he's walking down to eat with them. He eats breakfast and dinner with them every weekday. On the weekends, they get breakfast, lunch, and dinner because he doesn't have to work on the weekends as much, you know? And they must shower 2 times a day, and they can only wear what he provides them with, which is anything not showing skin, basically provocatively. So basically, if I was one of them, I get my ass beat, you know? And what's the other thing? Yeah, basically they're cut off from the outside world, obviously. And like the only thing they have from the outside world is the newspapers that he brings home like every once in a while. And there's no TV. All they get are DVDs to watch repeatedly and books. Lots of books. Sad. Oh, and when he falls in love with you, then he has sex with you, which is not sex, it's rape. Lovely life, isn't it? Anyway, so it's about this girl named Summer. She becomes the new Lily. She gets kidnapped on the way to the club looking for her friend who's like not responding to anybody's calls or texts. So they're looking for her and she gets kidnapped in the process. And a whole, what, like 7 months go by that she's down there. And her boyfriend, what's his boyfriend? Her boyfriend's name is Lewis. Like, is endlessly searching for her. Like a dedicated boo. Like, I love you. Like, we appreciate you so much. But yeah. And you find out this dude is like, this dude, oh my god. Not only does this dude just kidnap girls and do this to them, but he also murders prostitutes for no reason. Well, he has a reason, but it's so fucked up. Like, he honestly thinks that they're ruining society. And that he's doing society a favor by killing them. You know what this is brought on by? Okay, obviously he has a mother and a father. His father cheated on his mother with a prostitute. Or, yeah, and mother found them and kicked them out. And I'm pretty sure his mom like taught him to murder people because it was like a Norman Bates kind of thing. I mean, he even had, like, there's a picture of him kissing his mom, not like the normal way, like mouth to mouth kissing. And it's like, I really feel like they had a Norman Bates relationship, if you know what I mean. You know. Yeah. But this is really refreshing to me, especially because it had something to do with mystery and murder and kidnapping. And I am actually a huge fan of this kind of stuff to read, not in real life. Like, it's not like I praise this shit. Like, I just like reading about it because I like to like be like, ooh, what's happening? What's gonna happen next? Who did it? Who done it? You know, that kind of thing. And I haven't read anything like this since I was a kid. Oh, you want to? I mean, I did read Wolf Rider in middle school, and I also read Acceleration in high school. I reread both of those because I love them so much. And yeah, those are the last 2 things that had anything to do with this kind of stuff, because both of those books involved serial killers. what is it with my fascination with serial killers? But this guy was a kidnapper, and I guess you want to call him a serial prostitute killer. But yeah, it was really good. Check it out. She's a Wattpad author, Natasha Preston. She has 3 other books. I don't know if they actually go along with this or if they're just another kind of standalones. But yeah, check her out. She's great. Alright, so that was book 19. So now let's talk about the books that I picked up along the way. So remember when I said that I was gonna eventually own the rest of the Fallen books one day? It officially happened. Another one of my favorite series complete. Now, because I was so like dedicated to getting the perfect, because like I found this one by itself separately, and then I found these 3 all together at my like most successful thrift store on the boulevard, all in perfect condition, brand new. So I put these 4 babies together, and now I have 2 extra copies of Fallen and an extra copy of Passion. And I'm also trying to sell these on Depop, so if anybody's interested in buying these, visit my Depop, or you can leave a comment in the comments and we can work something out. I have PayPal, so if you want them, take them off my hands. I don't need them. I also am trying to sell these Crossfire novels. I have the entire trilogy right here. I'm trying to sell these. Again, they're on my Depop. If you're interested, go check it out. I'll put the link in the bottom bar. And PayPal, if you want them, don't have a Depop, we could work something out. I got a PayPal. Let me know in the comments. So this is what I forgot. I'm actually deep into the Unwind trilogy, not trilogy, series. But on here it says Unwindology. I honestly don't know what the fuck a dystology is, but I guess this is it. I only have 2 of the 4. Alright, sorry, I had to fix my camera. I had some technical difficulties. So if you want to get into the Unwindology, the author is Neal. So if you want to get into the Unwindology, the author is Neal Shusterman. He's brilliant. I highly recommend. So the other ones I picked up, I don't know what it is about me picking up books in 2s, but from the Uglies series, there's 4. I'm missing the first one, but it goes Uglies, then Pretties, and then Specials. And then there's a 4th one called Extras. I read that one, but I feel like it's like really detached. And then like the characters are completely different. Like the main character of the main series doesn't even show up until the end. So yeah, I don't really like to include that one as part of it, even though it is. But yeah, they're really good. It's got it's set in the future, and it's really stupid for me to say it has a futuristic vibe because it is set in the future, duh. I'm not gonna talk about it because you've probably heard about them. They're very popular about a decade ago. But they're really good reads. I highly recommend. And they're by Scott Westerfield, if you didn't know. He's also the author of Peeps. I love that book. Every other chapter it alternates between the actual story, and then the other chapters that isn't a story are about a weird type of insect, or what's it called, a parasite. I highly suggest that if you are easily squeamish or disturbed by creepy crawly things or stuff that can, you know, be parasitic to your human body in the really disgusting ways, in disturbing ways, don't read it, or just skip over those chapters. I'm speaking from experience. You're welcome. Alright, the next one is Tales of Suspense by Edgar Allan Poe. So basically this is a book filled with his short stories. If you don't know, he's popular for his short stories. Oh, this is a little cute, like, newspaper-esque kind of thing that was inside of the book. It's just like his life story, basically. Oh, another thing, I need to look this up, but there's a part in To All the Boys I Loved Before. There is something in there about Lara Jean going to Richmond with Josh to go see the Edgar Allan Poe Museum. Another thing I really appreciate is that To All the Boys is actually based in Virginia, and where do I live? I live in Virginia. So a lot of the landmarks, college-wise, they were talking about in the third book, I was like, oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. So now I'm really thinking, is there really an Edgar Allan Poe Museum in Richmond? Because if so, I'm so there. It has to happen. But yeah, there's a bunch of his short stories in here. There's even illustrations to go with them. And yeah, there's some really popular ones in here too. Like, the one I know most is, oh, where is it? The Fall of the House of Usher. I read that junior year in high school and I loved it. I'm excited to read these. I mean, it is really great because they're not long, so if you're like getting bored of reading them, they're not that long. They're short stories for a reason. But yeah, Edgar Allan Poe. And then the last one I have is Blood Canticle, whatever. This thing. It's by Anne Rice, so y'all know. Vampire Chronicles, y'all already heard. I'm obsessed with vampires, alright? And I'm trying to read all of the Vampire Chronicles books by Anne Rice. I've only read I assume it's the first one because that's the order it's in. I've only read Interview with a Vampire by her so far. That was a chore. That was torture, because I've seen the movie a million times and I know which parts of the movie that I don't like, so every single time I got to that part in the book I was just like, ugh. And then it took forever for Lewis to actually get to telling the story, so I was just like, oh my god, get on with it, dude. Yeah, so yeah, but the next one I'm about to read, I'm not reading until October, is The Vampire Lestat. And anybody who knows me and knows how deep my vampire obsession goes knows that Lestat is my favorite vampire, period. My favorite version of Lestat is from Queen of the Damned, and that's also in there. I have that one. I can't read, oh my god, I can't wait to read Queen of the Damned. So yeah. Alright, so that's the end of this. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble and geek for another however long this video is. Yeah, so like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, get off my channel. Hit the bell if you want notifications for the next time I upload. And if you have anything you want to say, leave it in the comments. All my links to the things I mentioned will be in the bottom bar. You guys have a blessed day and enjoy your September. Bye!